Hello everyone, welcome to Move Well, Live Well. We get a number of people that are coming in here who have issues with their foot. And in particular, they're having problems with their foot. It's a condition known as plantar fasciitis. And a common presentation of it is pain in the bottom of the foot, mostly on the inside part of the foot, kind of like in this arch area right here. This inside part of the foot, and pain especially right here on the heel. See this? This is where the plantar fascia spans like this, and it attaches to right here. So this is, if they push on this right here, this is really, really painful, and even pain in through here, especially when getting out of bed. You know, in the morning, they put their foot down on the floor. Ooh, it starts to feel pain. Inside part of the foot right here, along that arch, and right there on the heel. Now, if it's pain in the center of the heel right here, that might be a different condition, also known as heel pad syndrome or fat pad atrophy syndrome. And that's a different condition. If it's pain on the center of the heel right here, then it's not plantar fasciitis. It may be heel fat pad syndrome. But plantar fasciitis, common presentation, pain right here in the arch, inside part of the foot, and especially along right there. And then when they put their big toe up like this, if they extend their great toe, so extend that, woo, they pull their toe back, woo, it lights that sucker up. So how do you fix that? How do you fix plantar fasciitis? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 3 yoga poses in progression, in series of progression and increasing difficulty that you can do at home to eliminate plantar fasciitis. So join me, shall you? With plantar fasciitis, we're finding that most folks are having difficulty with toe extension. So this is toe extension. They're missing toe extension range of motion. So the first pose, Baddha Asana. Now I'm probably messing up the Sanskrit, but it's the tabletop pose. So what you do is you come up on all fours like this. You're up on all fours. Now typically when you do this pose, I'm gonna put you guys down just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So when you do this pose, typically you would have your feet in plantar flexion like this. This is plantar flexion, this is dorsiflexion. But for the sake of plantar fasciitis, since we're missing toe extension, we're gonna modify Baddha Asana or the tabletop pose. Instead of being like this, we're gonna put the toes like this. See that? Now we wanna have the toes kind of in line with your knee. We don't want them going to the side or doing this. We're just doing this. You see that? The weight of your foot is all that you're doing to put your toes in extension. You see that? This is toe extension. You see that there? So this is toe extension, this is toe flexion, right? Toe flexion, toe extension. So just the weight of my foot in toe extension, keeping your toes pointed forward towards your knees. And this is the first progression for this, because some folks, man, you put their toes into extension with plantar fasciitis and it really lights that sucker up. So this is just the weight of your foot in toe extension. This is the first yoga pose. You want to hold these for about 30 seconds to a minute. Now don't sit there in agony, for 30 seconds to a minute. If you have to, you go in 10 seconds, take a break, do another 10 seconds, and work up to 30 seconds to a minute. Do this twice a day, 30 seconds to a minute. So that's Baddha Asana or the tabletop pose. The second yoga pose for plantar fasciitis is Bal Asana. Again, I may be butchering the Sanskrit pronunciation of Balasana, but it's the child's pose. So what you do is you start on all fours again, like this, and typically the child's pose is done in this fashion, where you're on all fours and you're in dorsiflexion of the feet, plantar flexion of the feet, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. So you're in plantar flexion of the feet, and you're sitting down into the pose, like this. You see that? That's the child's pose. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of modify it because we're working on plantar fasciitis since these folks are missing toe extension. So we're gonna put our toes in extension, kind of like the tabletop. So we start on the tabletop right here with the weight of our foot, with our toes in extension. And now we're gonna sit backwards. See, now this is adding a little bit of pressure onto our toes while they're in extension. So you may have to modify, how far you go in child's pose based on your discomfort with your condition. So if you have really bad symptoms, you may only have to go this far right here, where you start feeling that great toe extension, the toe extension pulling in through there. So, and then as you get better and better, you sit all the way down into it while your toes are in extension, just like this. And again, 30 seconds to a minute. Do this twice a day. Again, you don't want to sit here in agony. If you have to, let up a little bit. Go back in. Don't have to sit there in agony for a full 30 seconds to a minute. Work up to it. And do this twice a day, 30 seconds to a minute. And work into that child's pose where you're really putting you're putting more pressure on your feet in toe extension. So Balasana, child's pose, that's the second pose for plantar fasciitis. The third yoga pose for plantar fasciitis is Vajrasana. I'm really butchering this one here, so excuse me, you yoga masters out there. It's spelled V-A-J-R Asana, A-S-A-N-A. So Vajrasana, which is also known as the diamond pose or the thunderbolt pose. And what you do, again, typically when you do this pose, you're in plantar flexion and you're seated like this, okay? So you're seated like this. Now, some folks, they can't sit like this. They're missing some plantar flexion range of motion in their ankle. So they may have to let off a little bit to get on this. But with plantar fasciitis, since they're missing toe extension, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your toes in extension, again, in line with your knees, and you're gonna slowly sit back onto your heels. See this? Boom. This is, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I'm gonna say, this is the thunderbolt or the diamond pose, where you're in this position right here. And you see my toes are in extension right here, and I'm pretty much, my whole weight of my upper body is sitting on my heels right here. This is a great move also for the quadriceps as well. So this is a modification from the original diamond pose or thunderbolt pose, where you're like this, and we're just going into extension right here, toe extension, and we're sitting on our feet. Again, don't sit here in agony. If you have to, let up a little bit, or just depending on your severity of your symptoms, you may have to start kind of slowly sitting it back into it until you get to a point where you can sit all the way back onto your heels and going into full toe extension with the weight of your body on your toes. So again, 30 seconds to a minute. Do this twice a day to help increase that dorsiflexion through your great toes, thereby eliminating plantar fasciitis. That's the third yoga pose for plantar fasciitis. Anyway, if you have any questions with this video, drop it off in the comment section below. We thank you for watching. We appreciate it. If you're new here, hit subscribe. And when you hit subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification button, because that'll keep you in the loop with subsequent videos coming here in the near future. And that way you can continue to move well, live well. Also, I know you know, folks, it's a very common issue that have pain in the bottom of the foot, especially the medial side of the foot right here, and pain, especially right there on the heel. They may have plantar fasciitis. Share this with them. Sharing is caring. Also, give us a thumbs up. It lets us know you care. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.